Welcome back to the channel. If you've been around here for a while, you probably know that I am an absolute fan of the Nahvalur Horizon pen. It is one of my favorite pens, and I tend to have at least one or two inked up at any given time. And so when Nahvalur reached out recently and offered to send me this lovely pen, which at the time was not out yet, I of course said yes. This is the Nahvalur Horizon Summer. This is their 2025 summer pen, and we're going to talk about it because it's very, very pretty and very different from the other Horizon pens I have material wise. The blank is by Starry Night Resins, which is an offshoot of Heinz Pen Co. But I absolutely adore what Elyce has done this time with the resin. It's slightly translucent, and so you can see the inner workings of the pen, and it has a stunning gradient. So let's pick some ink colors, let's ink this up, and let's have a play and do a writing sample. I cannot actually remember what nib I got this in, so we're going to have to figure that out as well. The color palette of this pen actually gives us a lot of possibilities because you've got blue, you've got orange, you've got yellow. You can do a lot of things with that. I knew as soon as I saw it what I wanted to put into it. We're going to look at some other possibilities, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly what I want to put into it. I think for blues, you do have to go quite pale and identical. So I think these two, so Private Reserve Daphne Blue or Sailor Snow Light Blue, those are both in there. Those would work. I think you do have to be concerned about going slightly too teal with this pen because it is a very blue. And then you get into the yellowy oranges, which are something that I have many of, as people know, but I don't use all that often. There is one of these yellowy oranges that I do love though, and I always want to put in a pen, and it's really hard to put in a pen because if it doesn't match the pen it looks weird, and that is the cult classic Ferris Wheel Press Buttered Popcorn. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, this pen is the perfect match for buttered popcorn because with the yellows and the oranges it looks fantastic, and as well as with the blues it looks great. So I think I finally have a pen that I can put buttered popcorn into, which is amazing because I think I've had this ink in my collection now for about 8 months. I've used it with dip pens a bunch and art pieces, but I've never actually been able to put it into a pen, and I think this is the pen for it. So let's ink it up. All right, here we go. Let's open this up and fill this pen. I actually managed to track down this ink after the ink was discontinued in the clearance section, so I did not pay full price for it, but I do really love it. All right, it is a piston pen. Most of the Nahvalur pens are piston pens. They do have a couple that are vacuum, and I think there's 1 or 2 models that are cartridge converter, but for the most part, with a Nahvalur pen, it is a piston. This one does have the full ink window, which I do really like. There are some that have porthole ink windows, but I am a fan of the full ink window, especially with the little cap band, which has little narwhals on it, which look like they're dancing in the ocean. I think it's fun, especially if you put a blue ink in it. So let's ink this up. Oh, I can't put it in all the way because this is a very, very full bottle. All right, we are going to burp this pen. So I'm going to twist the piston until I see ink in that ink window, and that bubbles up top are more than just air. There. Right. There we go. Drying off. I think it's always so nice when you've got like a new-ish ink towel and it's still sort of clean. Well, it's not a perfectly full fill, but good enough, right? Make sure this grip's fully clean, and then we'll get into the writing sample. So after looking at this pen with a loop, there is a tiny little F there. Nahvalur recently did start to mark their nibs, which I think is always lovely because it makes it easier to swap nibs around. because then you don't have to always keep track of what size it is. So let's get this writing sample started. We are using Endless Regalia paper because that is what I have currently in the studio. This is the summer 2025 Horizon fine nib. You are getting some of the nice shading that buttered popcorn has, even with a fine nib. And this is Ferris wheel press buttered popcorn. I do love all the shading you get with buttered popcorn because it's hard to find a yellow that shades well. Buttered popcorn really does it excellently. And I think that's a pretty excellent match. I don't know that I could have found a better match for that pen. I do have 3 other Horizon pens in various nib sizes, and just for the sake of comparing nibs, I am going to dip these also in buttered popcorn and do a quick writing sample with the medium and the broad, just so if you're interested in looking at the nibs and purchasing your own, you've got an idea of what the nibs look like. So there we go. There's the fine, the medium, and the broad. I will say, I don't know that my medium nib was totally clean. The color is a lot darker in that pen, but overall, you can definitely see the difference in how they all write. I do actually have one more broad Horizon in my collection. This is the Glacier, but I don't feel the need to dip both. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below if you have any questions. As always, thank you to Nahvalur for providing me with the Summer Horizon for 2025. I absolutely adore it, and I can't wait to get to use it more over the next couple months. Let me know what ink you would have put in the pen. I think buttered popcorn's probably going to stay in it for a while, but you never know. So I hope you enjoyed watching and have a great day.